Okay, we're recording. Okay, so today we're going to talk about defining our schedule. And I don't know about y'all, but I need help with this. So I'm excited to talk about it. Creating schedules and to-do lists that work within our roles. Because last week we did talk about defining our roles. And hopefully you all got a chance to kind of either watch the recording or sit down and think about what your 6 to 7, 5 to 7 roles are in life that you want to be really, really good at. And that's what's important to, I guess, get out of that call or that webinar was, what do you want to be really good at in life? Because you can't be good at everything. I wish, right? So focusing on what's important, what's a priority right now. And then now we're going to talk about how to allocate time within those roles so that you're happy and you're feeling fulfilled and like you're getting everything out of life that you want. So last week we did talk about those roles, and I'm just going to use mine as an example for this call. I picked six roles to focus on that were important and a priority to me. And those were mother and mentor to my daughter Emma, and wife and best friend to my husband, and she needs the top call link. A team leader and CEO of my business, manager of myself, woman of faith, and then being a part of my Texas home life with family and friends back at home. And while some of these roles may not happen daily for you, maybe they're more weekly. Like for example, my woman of faith is, Tuesday night Bible study and Sunday church. Or my Texas home life is once a month. Let me get rid of Facebook, sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. So Texas home life is like once a month. Why is it still baby? Sorry, y'all. There we go. Okay. Sorry. So some of these things may not be every single day, daily activities for you. They're more like monthly or weekly, and that's fine. That means you get to allocate your time accordingly. So it's that pie or that piece of the puzzle or the piece of the pie or the plate that I was talking about last week of where you're going to fit these things into your life and how we're going to allocate the time for them. So for example, I'm going to show you guys how to break down or how I broke down these roles and where I'm putting my time into those roles. So I did this yesterday, while I was putting this PowerPoint together. And it's going to explain where I'm putting that time in. So if I get up at 6:15 or if I'm up at 6:15 is my daily devotional and my prayer. That's my woman of faith role for Monday. My mommy and mentor role to my kid is from 6:30 to 7:30. We're doing breakfast, we're dressed, we're dropping off at school, and whatever is involved at school. Like today was picture day, so I actually had to kind of move things around to help her get ready for pictures. And then I'm also mommy and mentor to Emma from 3 to 7:30 p.m. I'm picking her up from school. We're doing gymnastics and extracurricular activities. We're playing, dinner, bed, bath, all that. My team leader role, it includes the times from 8 to 12 when I'm working, I'm doing calls, I'm training, I'm doing my power hours, things like that, following up with messages. From 2 to 3, that's my strict follow-up hour. It's after I've worked out, which you'll see in the next role as manager of self. I'm strictly responding to messages. A lot of the teams message me by then, and that's when I'm getting to those. And then 7:30 to 8:30 is my strict power hour, where I'm doing that power hour, which I'll get into and show you examples of at the end of my day rather than at the beginning of my day, so that people that are getting home from work, I'm on the East Coast, and so a lot of my market is central to West Coast peeps. So they're 2 to 3 hours behind me, and so while I message them at 9:30, they're just getting home from work and they're able to respond while I'm sleeping, which is great. I can get to them in the morning when I do my first power hour. And then the manager of myself role is from 12 to 2. That's when I'm eating lunch, I'm working out, I'm having me time, running errands, maybe I'm watching a show, who knows, whatever it is that I want to do for those 2 hours, that's my time to do that. And then I'm a wife and a best friend role from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. where I'm hanging out with my husband on the couch. We're having TV, wine time, what have you. So this shows you how I've broken down those roles on a daily basis of where I'm fitting in my time. You might want to do it a different way. So this is a different example of a work-at-home mom that has kids at home. She's trying to build this business, but her kids are toddlers, or maybe they're not. They're just not in school yet. They're home with her. And she breaks down her actual schedule. So what I like about these schedules is that you have to like stick to it. And you're the only one that can do that, right? So you have to sit down and say, okay, if I'm going to make this work at 6 a.m., I'm going to get up, and that's when I'm going to do my Beachbody business manager, whatever you labeled your Beachbody role as. You're going to do a power hour, and maybe you have 3 power hours that you're going to do. So in this example, I used 3 power hours, and I made them very specific, like what you would do. So you'd sit down, and in the first power hour, you're strictly inviting. And maybe it only takes you 30 minutes. So you have 30 minutes to plan posts for the day or do some other stuff on your power hour list. But from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., you're strictly team leader Beachbody. From 7 a.m. to 9, that's when you're being the mother role to your kids. You're playing, you're getting breakfast, you're maybe having a play date, maybe you're going to the park, who knows. And then at 9 a.m., that's when you're your manager of yourself. You're going to get your workout in. Maybe while the kids are playing at the park, you're doing on-demand Beachbody, or maybe they're watching their favorite cartoon, their educational TV, while you are getting a workout in, or you're doing personal development, whatever. Then at 10 a.m., you are back to the CEO of your business. Hopefully that's why the kids are napping. Maybe they take a noon nap and you need to switch some stuff around. But that's when you do power hour 2, and that's your posting content and following up to people that have posted on your pages and your pictures and liked it and commented, and you're responding back to those people. Sometimes this stuff doesn't take an hour, but I'm giving you an hour to do it in this example. And then 11 a.m. is the manager of yourself, from 11 to 1, maybe while the kids are napping, or I don't know what they might be doing, but that's lunchtime, that's you time. Maybe you're with the kids and you're playing again. And or the woman of faith role would be the MOPS. You're going to a mommy program at the church where they have kid drop off, and you get to go to a Bible study and be with other moms, something like that. So then from 2:30 to 7:30, you're back to the mother mentor playing. And then 7:30, after you put the kids down, it's back to that 3rd power hour, and you're strictly focusing on checking in with your challenge groups and with the team and or your team, and your messaging and following up with people. And then you can close off and be the wife and the best friend at the end of the day. So those are just examples. Again, there's no right and wrong way to do this. But this part is on you. I can't sit here and tell you, hey, this is where this needs to go in your day. You know your day, you know where things are. But if you can sit down and timeline it out like this with the times, or if you can block it off by the actual role and fitting in where you're actually doing it, it's going to help so much with just getting organized on that front. What I can help you with is the Beachbody side. And so whatever you named that role, the business manager, the CEO, the team leader, whatever, I can help you with that, and I can break that down for you. And so what I want you to first start with and know is that you have to get back to the basics with that. If you are not doing your vital behaviors, you will fail in this business. And I actually am going to call myself out. I was missing the boat on this. I was skipping my workouts, and that's part of managing myself. And that's why it even went on my list of roles, is because if I don't do it, if it gets left off, it will not happen, and I will not be a happy person. And it's a part of my life, so it has to be on my list. And my workout was slipping. I was doing all this work stuff, Beachbody stuff, mother role, wife role, and that part was getting left off. There was no time for it. I wasn't allocating time for it. And here I am posting in my challenge groups, and I'm not being a product of the product. And I was like letting myself down. So I had to go back to the basics and take things off my plate that weren't important, because that workout's important to me. My health is part of my roles. So these 3 vital behaviors within your business and yourself are so important. And if you're missing one, if you're not doing one, I mean, that's why they're called vitals. They're like heartbeats. And Beachbody puts it out there like that because it's that important to your business. If you're missing the beat on any of these, you're going to crumble, you're going to have a stroke, right? You're going to have a heart attack, and you're going to have to get back onto that wagon. So I challenge you to make sure that you're checking each of these things off on your Beachbody role to-do list every single day, that you're allocating enough time to get at least these three things done every single day, because it will propel your business slowly forward, but you'll at least know you're doing the right things and checking those things off of your list. So make sure that you are connecting and sharing and talking and inviting at least 3 to 5 new people every single day, that you're committing to your workouts and committing to drinking Shakeology every single day. And then you're sharing about it, you're talking about it, you're posting about it. Not every single day posting about it, but you know what I mean? And then you're investing in yourself every day. And it doesn't have to be a book. I was always so like against personal development because I hate reading. It can be a podcast. It could be a webinar. It could be a training like this, one of Janelle's trainings, some other training on YouTube that you found, a team call, etc. But devote at least 10 minutes a day to growing yourself, to stretching your mind, to listening or reading or watching some kind of personal development tool to make you better, a better leader, a better coach, a better person. But be a student first, be a sharer first, be an inviter and a connector in this business first, especially in your Beachbody umbrella. So this was huge for me, just going back to those basics and making sure that I was doing those vitals every single day. And once you master that list, then you can start adding other things on. So, you've allocated this pie, if you will, to these roles that you've picked out for yourself that are important to you in this life. And Beachbody is one of those. And so once you master that vitals list of getting those things done and checking those things off every single day, then you can start adding and making time for, additional things. So, for example, make a list of everything that you need to get done besides the vitals, and then answer the question, well, what is the most important and what's going to move my business forward? And then you'll know, okay, I can focus on that now that I've got my vitals checked off. So for example, if it takes you 30 minutes to do a workout, which is one of your vitals, and then it takes you 20 minutes to send invitations to 3 or 5 new people, and then it takes you 10 minutes to do personal development, well, there's an hour right there. So if you've allowed yourself 3 hours to work this business, to allocate to that role, then you've got an hour already taken up with your vitals, and then you have 2 hours left over for whatever extra you want to do. So maybe it's recording a video, or creating a training for your team, or creating a fan page. Maybe it's just creating a training document that you can share, or creating scripts for your team. Whatever it is, maybe it's recognition. Add one thing to your plate at a time, because that way you're not going to overwhelm yourself, and one of those other things isn't going to slip off. Even if you think, oh, I have 2 hours to do this. Well, work smarter, not harder, obviously. Don't take 2 hours to create, a recognition slide for your team, but don't add too much to your plate, because the minute you do that is the minute that it gets chaos. And yes, this business is chaotic, and you have to kind of learn to be comfortable with the chaos in this business. That's why we have these lists. That's why we have schedules, because everything's going to go on around you, whether you like it or not. People are going to tag you, comment, message you in the middle of these power hours where you're supposed to have focused time. So you have to be comfortable with that chaos, but you can't have chaos on your schedule side either. So you have to have these, small tasks to be doing every single day, and not adding too much to that plate so it's not overwhelmed or taking away time from those other roles that you have. The key is to maintain a level of intensity and progress that you can sustain for the long haul, because this business is proven. Like, hopefully I've proven it to you that this works. And I'm a big slow and steady wins the race with this business. And I've preached that since I got started, and I've got picked on for that. Like, why do you want to take it slow and steady? And it's because I need to sustain it. I need it to be a solid foundation, so that if I do get too hot and too heavy and too fast, I have, solid foundation to fall back on. But I also need this to be sustainable, because if it gets going, like the people that go hard and heavy and too fast and furious for the short time, they lose momentum, and they fall out, and they get burnt out, obviously. But the people that stay at it and take those baby steps day in and day out, like I'm telling you and teaching you doing, like I've done, you grow consistent success. And that daily persistence is so important, like those daily vitals, and like having these to-do lists. So I can't stress that enough. And if it doesn't fit into your role, don't add it. So for example, with the Beachbody, role, if you're invited to be a guest speaker on another team call, I get that all the time. And I have to say no quite a bit, unless it's, like my success partner that I feel guilty if I say no. But I turn a lot of people down, because while that's awesome, and I'm like, whoa, I'm flattered, thank you, I'd love to speak on your call, I don't have time for that. my team's more important to me. I want to do team calls for my team. And yes, they might get to talk or watch the recording and, get on the call with me. That's taking time out of my week where I could be putting it into other business income producing activities for my business and for my team. It doesn't fit to my role. Maybe you're asked to host a fit club. And while that sounds fun and exciting, and it might be an income producing activity for you, honestly, it takes about 3 hours to do one if you're running it once a week. And you have 3 hours to take and put the energy and the time into that. Is there room in your role for 3 hours of that? Because it's an hour to set up and meet people and mingle, an hour to do the workout and drink Shakeology afterwards, and then an hour to close shop and get people's contact info. And it's 3 hours. So you have to make sure you have time for that kind of stuff. Maybe you want to create a new blog website, but is that going to be something, it may take only 2 hours to set it up, but you have to think of the long run, and you have to maintain it. You have to manage it. You have to add content to it. You have to think up content to add to it. Then you have to follow up with people that subscribe to your newsletter. And there's just so much involved. Like, is it something that you can put onto your plate right now? So if it doesn't fit your role, then don't add it. And add one thing at a time so that you don't get overwhelmed with all this stuff that you are, wanting to do. Okay, so along those same lines with time management, this is something that I learned from Christine Dwyer and several other top leaders in this business, is they kind of break down the time management scale based on your rank. And so when you're a new coach, your 100% focus is on those vital behaviors, recruiting, getting posts out on Facebook, messaging people, the vital behaviors. You're not focusing on coach basics and training people and running a team page and hosting your own team calls at this point until you have people underneath you to do that with. I really liked the breakdown of this because it kind of shows you where your focus should be, and depending on if you're a coach watching this or an Emerald coach or on your way to Diamond, or if you are, a 15-star Diamond coach, that you got a good balance going on here. So I thought that was a good visual that I wanted to share with you guys. So let's talk about what may work. There is not a cookie cutter system in this business. Obviously, there's not a cookie cutter coach. We learned that last week, where we're all different with our roles and what's important to us. And there's all different personalities too. So while I'm a red on the color code, and I'm an emerald and a ruby on the gym's personality test, some other people, some people are yellows and they're pearls, and they don't like structure. They don't like being told what to do or how to do it. They kind of like their own flowy system. So I'm trying to incorporate a couple of different ways to do this so that maybe you find one that fits you best. I like structure, so I tend to be attracted to that. And hopefully if you're like me, then this will help you too. But I do have some other systems in here that may work for you if you're not into structure. So the ones that I've picked out that I think are awesome are the Power Hour system, obviously, and you can break that up into chunks however you want. You can do 2 30-minute ones. There's a lot of ways you can change that up. Time blocking, the Parkinsons Law, and Pomodoro's technique. I'll get into all these, and then the daily, weekly, and monthly to-do list for you. So let's start with the Power Hour. Luckily, there was a call yesterday on the National Wake Up Call, and I forgot to put the recording number in here, but I think it's like 832. I don't know. If someone knows it, y'all can chat it to me or text it to me. But anyways, there was a call yesterday on the National Wake Up Call with Stephanie Chico about the Power Hour, and she gave some great ideas on what should go in your Power Hour list. They were just ideas and what's working for her, so take it with a grain of salt. You add your own things in, what you think is good. But she suggests spending 10 to 15 minutes on each step. One was creating content for her post. Another was checking into her challenge groups, being present on her team page and adding value there, building new relationships and sending messages, and then returning all messages and following up at the end of the day. The thing about the Power Hour that's great is you can break it up into segments. You can do a half hour in the morning, a half hour in the evening. You can do 2 Power Hours throughout your day, 3, 4, 5, however you want that to work. That's a great system. It's a great checklist. And if you're doing it along with the vitals, you know that you're getting everything done that you need to. I also liked this system, the way it was laid out. It's a very simple checklist, and I liked how they added the minutes to it too. So adding 2 new friends to Facebook, you take 5 minutes. Going to your friends list and seeing people that you know and mutual friends and who's mutual friends of them that you could be friends with. And then they kind of break it down with what you should be doing on this power hour list and how many minutes you should be spending doing that. And then they give you tips, which these are great tips, and we'll get into distractions next week, but setting a timer, staying out of the news feed, and writing everything down so you don't forget, whether it's in a Word doc, in your phone, on a piece of paper. And then Janelle has a great power hour in her team Facebook page, and it's the power hour times 2. So she actually suggests that you do 2 power hours every single day, but each power hour has different tasks on it. And I think that's great because I get bored doing the same thing over and over again. So I like having 2 different things to focus on throughout my day. So this is a great one if you like change, if you like to keep it different throughout your day. She also includes her training website. So there's a lot of resources there for personal development. And then keeps you privy to what your goals are. So I really liked this visual. Y'all will have access to this PowerPoint. So if you want to snapshot that later, then you can. The next technique is called Pomodoro's technique, and Pomodoro actually means tomato in Italian, so that's why there's a tomato. Brittany Leggett, one of the superstar top coach leaders in this company, did a quick call on this in one of our leader groups the other day, and I thought it was awesome, and it was perfect timing, especially for me who was struggling with being productive and getting shit done. So basically what this is about is focused activity and taking action and getting back to focusing on what you're doing and focusing on one thing at a time before you jump to the other. It's like, teaching my toddler how to put up that toy before you get out another toy. So back to the basics, right? So I liked this theory or this technique because, especially for new coaches, because it makes you focus on what you're doing and you feel accomplished at the end of the day. Like today, I did my best, I focused, I controlled the controllable, and I won my day. Like, hallelujah, okay? So you're not feeling like you're just scatterbrained or I did so much stuff today, but I don't know what I got done. You actually have actionable things that you said, I did this, I did this, I did this, and it got done. There's a website on this, and there's an app, and I will totally share that with you guys. I haven't even looked at it yet, so I don't even know where to find it, but I will Google all that and find it for you. But basically, this is a technique for improving your productivity. You would first pick out an activity or a task that you wanted to work on. So identify the activity and how much time or how many 25-minute segments it would take to get that task done. So let's take inviting, because I know a lot of new coaches struggle with inviting. So let's say you wanted to send 25 new invite check-in, hello, hi, hey girl messages for that day. So you say, okay, it's going to take me 2 25-minute segments to do that. Excuse me. I need a drink of water. Okay, so you get 4 25-minute segments throughout to do this task, but it's only going to take you 2. So then your next task that you want to focus on after you finish that one might be, I don't know, creating a recognition page or a picture for your team. Okay, so let's just use those 2 as an example. So it's going to take me 2 25-minute segments to do the 25 messages, and it's going to take me 1 25-minute segment to do the recognition picture. Now you're going to work against the clock. You only have 25 minutes to do that task, and then the timer goes off. You set the timer, and once that timer goes off, you get up, you take a 5-minute break, whether it's going to the bathroom, taking a walk around the block, around the house, upstairs, downstairs, whatever, and then you come back and you do that same task unless you finished it for 25 more minutes. So let's say you got all 25 messages out in 25 minutes. Whoa, that's awesome. You're super productive. When you come and sit back down after that 5 minutes, you're on to that next task. So you're creating that recognition sheet. But let's say it didn't take you 25 minutes. When you come back, you sit down, you're still plugging away at those messages. And let's say you've finished in the 25 minutes, you get up, you take another 5-minute break, you sit back down, and now you're working on that rank recognition picture. And it only takes you 15 minutes. So now you have 10 minutes left to send invite messages, or we already did that. Look at inspiration for more content. Then the timer goes off and you're back up. You do that 4 times. And then you take a big 30-minute break. Maybe you do your workout. Maybe you go for a run. I don't know, read a book. take a break off the computer. You're up, you're out. And then you start all over again. So however many 25-minute segments you have, times 4, you do that throughout your day with these tasks. It creates focused urgency to get things done, because we all work better and faster when we have a timer attached to what we're trying to do, right? So this coincides with the Parkinsons Law. And that law is that when you give yourself an hour to get a task done, you'll take an hour. If you give yourself half an hour to get the same task done, you'll get it done in half an hour. It's creating those artificial limitations. And his theory or law is that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion, meaning as the length of time allocated to a task becomes shorter, the task becomes simpler and easier to solve. You're more efficient and faster if you give yourself less time to do it, because it's a time crunch and you're like, oh, I got to get this done. We all like that, right? Well, at least I do. And I'm a Ruby. I like that kind of stuff. So this might not work for you if you're a Pearl and you don't like the time crunch. So for example, if we went back to like the team graphic, I could spend 8 hours doing those Success Club, glammy, bright, sparkly, graphics for y'all for Success Club. I have fun doing that, but it doesn't take 8 hours. It takes like 20 minutes to do that. So knowing that I set a limit for myself and say, okay, I'm only going to give myself 20 minutes to do this, and I better get it done. Then I'm not fart tooting around and playing with it and making it all sparkly and pretty. I'm doing it, getting it done, putting the names in, bam, it's done. And then you get into a system when you do that, and now it becomes even faster because you're only doing what you can within that time frame. So then you kind of challenge yourself, like, well, now it's only going to take me 15 minutes to do it. Okay, so creating artificial limitations and urgency and deadlines. So, for example, here's some things that you could, use as an example for that. You work without your charger. If you're working on your laptop, you don't plug it in and you let your battery run out, and then you're done with work. So I do that on Mark's computer a lot because I get so glued into mine. There's really not like a window. Maybe you set reminders on your computer to say every 15 minutes you're moving to a different something. Or you use the Pomodoro Technique, where it's every 25 minutes you're getting up and walking around. And what that does is it really like clears your mind, clears your brain, and you come back feeling fresh. It really does work. I've been trying it this week and it's awesome. Maybe you force yourself to get up every 2 hours and you work from that, a set task list. And I'll show you what I mean by the set task list next. And then instead of trying to run like 10 miles a day or invite 50 people this week or work out 6 times this week, make a rule to do XYZ before 10 a.m. And this is another thing that's great for new coaches. Something that I've run into is, hey, I don't remember, and I'm not on a routine to drink Shakeology every single day. It slips my mind and I forget, and I need to be better about it. Well, you make a personal rule to have it every morning at 10 a.m. every day, and then it becomes habit. And so do that in your business with, okay, before 10 a.m. I'm going to send out these 50 messages, or before 10 a.m. I'm going to do this power hour, or in 20 minutes I'm going to get this X, Y, and Z done. So you really set that limit for yourself, and you're going to get it done. Limit tasks like responding to email. I get so bogged into my email. There's like 150 of them, and I get in and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing that right now. But so it's intimidating, right? So if I say, okay, instead of agonizing over each email, and I say, I'm just going to spend 30 minutes, get through as many as I can in 30 minutes, and then I'm done. I shut it off. So that's his law. You'll get more stuff done if you give yourself less time or a time limit to do it. So this may work really well for you too, just kind of giving yourself a lot of time to get stuff done. So here is a daily to-do list that I was talking about. Like if you wanted to say every 2 hours you're going to get up, but you're working from a set to-do list. This is something that's worked well for me as a leader. So I don't know for new coaches if it's something that would work for you, but maybe it will. This is from Melanie Mitro right here. I don't know if y'all can see let me annotate this really fast. There we go. Okay. This is the daily to-do list from Melanie Mitro, and I like it because it talks about what you need to be doing every single day. And so if you like checklists, this would be a good one to start with, or maybe it's the power hour checklist, or maybe you combine the two and you just check off as you're doing stuff. I prefer this method or pen and paper on my daily spiral notebook. But what this focuses on is, for me as a leader, and as you start gaining more, leadership in your business, you have a lot more responsibilities, and you really have to time crunch and manage your time well. And I get bogged down with great ideas or things that I want to run with, and it's overwhelming. And so I really have to focus on on what I'm doing. So for example, today's focus might be content and posting good content. And so I'm going to allow myself 3 projects for that day. And they don't have to necessarily be wrapped around the focus of the day. I just like to wake up with something in my head like, hey, today is Help 3 Day, or today is Successes Day, and I'm gonna really focus on successes. So whatever that focus is, you pick. But I allow myself 3 projects to really that I want to get done today. So for example, that might be creating a webinar, prepping for the team call, or maybe it's creating a team video or a training tip or something, but a video, the team call prep, and then maybe it's sending new coach or new lead emails. This section over here is for goals, so personal goals and then team goals. So I track my personal success club points, where I'm at for that particular day. Then I know how far I've come and where I need to be. I also track marks. It's not written in here because this is the blank version I'll share with you guys. But I also track Mark's business. This is something that Brittany Leggett has shared as well. And where he's at with Success Club. I track my goal for my team and my goal for my 2014 and 15 coaches, because that's where elite points accrue from. And then I encourage too, anywhere in the downline. So anyone that's done anything good, they've been helpful, they've been engaged, they've had a great post, they've been just standing out amongst the crowd, I reach out to them and I encourage them. I send them some kind of note, special message. This section right here is my correspondence section, and it's people to contact. I don't know about you guys, but if you're not there, you'll eventually be there. My inbox is flooded with messages from my team, from prospects, from new messages that I've been sending. So I get 10 to 15 to 25 messages a day, and it's overwhelming. Just like my email, I see it and I'm like, ooh, I don't want to do that right now. I'd rather post content and look at inspiration, or go work out. So with this section, it's really helped me with getting focused and being less reactive to messages and being a slave to my inbox and being proactive. And so I pick out 3 to 4 people that I need to contact, I need to touch base with, whatever it is. If they're asking me questions, or they've been interested in something and they're waiting on me to send them something, a webinar about coaching or samples about Shakeology or whatever. I put 3 people in there, and then I put 3 people over here and the waiting to hear from. So I'm waiting to hear back from them. Maybe they were interested in the challenge group, or they were interested in coaching. They have a few questions for me, and I'm waiting on them to respond to my answers that I sent them. So that way I don't not respond to all the messages in my inbox, but I know where my focus is for that day. And I know when I go in there, I'm only looking for these 3 or 4 people, and then I'll get to the others when I get this stuff done on this checklist. The life priority section is partly because of my roles. Like, I'm more than just a coach. And so I need to be reminded every day, like, what's going on in my family that day. So do we have doctor's appointments? Do we have gymnastics? Do we have to go grocery shopping? Do I need laundry detergent? Like, what's going on? And I try to write down my priorities in life for that day. Do I need to pick up something from Mark? Whatever. And then this box is kind of a brain dump box. You can make it whatever you want. I use it for the video brainstorm because I'm trying to get better about doing more videos, and I have a lot of ideas in my head. So it could be anything from organizing my thoughts, like, hey, that question gets asked a lot. Like, I should do a video on that to help the team understand where that is or where to find that. Or Training Tip Tuesday, here's a tip for you guys. So 1 to 2 topics that I try to do 1 video a week with. So that's kind of that daily focus, if you will. So maybe that works for you if you're more of a pearl and a yellow and you like to pick out what you want to work on for the day, as opposed to, a real structured list like this one that Melanie has where you're doing the same thing every single day. So let's go to the next slide. Time blocking. That's the next thing I want to talk about. And this is an example from I don't think she's superstar yet. I think she's like 13-star diamond, but she's a rock star in the coaching biz, in the coaching world. Her name's Stephanie Davies. She's also pregnant and she has a little toddler at home. So this just mesmerizes me because I envy people like that are so savvy with their business and really strict with their business hours. And so I wanted to share her time blocking with you guys so that you could see what a rock star leader coach is doing and maybe implement some of this stuff into your own schedule. Like I said, she does have a kid at home and she is pregnant and she's home all day. So her child doesn't go to school, I don't believe. I didn't see it on there, but I don't think her kid goes to school. And she tells you down here that she only works 3.5 hours a day with calls and training, plus or minus, that. If she has a call that day, like I have a call today, so that counts as like an extra hour in my work day. But she's up at 7 working out, then she showers and she does her posts on Facebook and Instagram and in her challenge groups. Then she is with her daughter, Phoebe, unplugged for 3 solid hours. Nap time is focused work time, and that's where she's posting and checking in and returning messages and planning trainings and stuff. So she has to be like drilled in and no distractions, which we'll talk about next week. 2 to 6 is her running errands, coach calls. She's playing, reading, listening to trainings. 6 to 9 is dinner, bed, bath, time with family. And then 9 to 10, she's doing a last like power hour, it looks like. So I don't know where she's sitting in spouse time, if it's after that or not. And I'm sure a lot of this will change when she does have a new baby. But what I wanted to kind of point your attention to is that if you're working out at, nap time now, and you're one of these, stay-at-home moms with kids, maybe that's a bad time for you to work out because maybe you should be getting up early, or maybe you're not getting up early and you could flip-flop those two. So just know that you can work your schedule in different ways. It may take a little bit more out of you to like get up early, like 30 minutes early, or stay up a little later in the evening. Instead of going to bed at 10, you're going to bed at 10:30, but you're getting that last 30-minute power hour in so that you feel accomplished, or you're spending 30 minutes in your evening to plan out your next day. Like with these daily to-dos, I like to do them the night before. So I'll sit, at my desk and plan out what I want to focus on tomorrow, what I want my projects to be and who I want to talk to, so that I know and I have a plan of action and I'm not on my heels when I get up in the morning. I know what I'm supposed to be working on. So that's an example from Stephanie Davies. She also did one for someone that works outside of the house. Maybe you're a full-time employee somewhere else and you're building this business on your lunch break. And so she really breaks it down, like how you can fit in that time. Again, you might have to move some stuff around with the hours, and you might have to take some stuff off because it doesn't fit into the allocated pie of your roles, your role pie, if you will. So that's another example for you guys. Here's an example. Maybe you're more you like to see things on a weekly basis as opposed to on a daily basis. You're going to follow that power hour every day, but you want to break it up into something weekly. And this is an example I took from one of my other success partners, who's an elite 5-star diamond coach. So some of the stuff on here won't apply to you, but I really liked how she broke it down weekly. And so she gives herself things to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but she can see it all week. So she knows every Monday, this is what I'm doing. Every Tuesday, this is the only extra from her power hour that she's adding to her list. So I really liked the organization there. Plus it's pretty, right? It's all pretty in turquoise and pink. So that's something monthly that you could look at, or weekly. And then she also did a monthly one, and I really liked that too, where she kind of focuses on, okay, at the beginning of the month, this is what I'm focusing on. And again, this is more of a leader to-do list, if you will. So if you're a brand new coach, don't let this overwhelm you. So from a leader standpoint, this is something that I think helps organize you with knowing what's going on at the beginning of the month in your business, what you're going to focus on at the end of the month, and then your daily, power hour. So you can kind of look at it from a monthly standpoint as well. So I think that was everything that I had about schedules. But the most important thing that I wanted to for you to take away from this is that creating a schedule isn't hard. It just needs to fit into these roles. So don't forget these when you're planning out your Beachbody, because just because you're planning out Beachbody and you're like, oh, sweet, I have 8 hours today to work the business because my kids are in school. Well, you also have other roles, and I don't ever want those to get, squished on, set on, out of the equation, because they're important to you and you define them as important to you. And your life is going to feel unbalanced and you're not going to be as happy if you do that. So Beachbody is not everything, and I respect that and I know that. So manage your time so that you're getting what you want to get done with this business efficiently and effectively without having to add or take away from other roles in your life. So that's the biggest takeaway that I want you guys to get from this, and know that there's a lot of ways to manage it and to run it and to set up your schedule. So I'm going to stop sharing so that we can ask some questions or talk about this a little bit more. Hopefully that was helpful. Let me unmute everybody. Or I guess I'll let you guys unmute yourself so that it doesn't get too loud with the kiddos home. But so unmute yourself if you have questions or if you wanted to ask a question about anything. And then give me a thumbs up if that was helpful. No questions today? I love that y'all are such a quiet bunch. You make it so easy for me. No questions? Was that helpful?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was helpful.
Okay, good.
So how many hours a day, or at what point, Sarah, did you go from Emma not really being in daycare that long or preschool a little bit to switching to full time? Like, where were you at in your business when you did that?
Good question. So, hang on, I'm going to take a drink of water. My throat is sore. So when I was in New Orleans, I had I'd actually hired a nanny to come Mondays and Fridays for like 3 hours. And then she had to go back to school. So I had to find something else. So I found a mommy day out program for her, and she went Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 9 to noon. And so I had 3 hours. And it was really hard for me at first because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 3 hours. Like I could work the business or I could go to Target by myself and go grocery shopping by myself. So I really had to manage my time and figure out what was more important, going to the grocery store by myself or working this business. And I think some days it would change. I would go to the store by myself. But at the point in my business where I want to say I was pushing diamonds. Like that's where we were at that point. Or I was already at Diamond. I'd have to go back and look at the dates specifically. But I want to say that's about right where I was. Because that was my goal. My goal was to be able to afford to put Emma into some kind of program with my Beachbody money so that I could grow it even bigger. And then now she's obviously in a full day preschool program that's paid for by Beachbody as well. But I have more time on my hands, but I also have more responsibility too. So just know that grows as you grow your team, and you have to start allocating more time. Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because it's hard. It's hard to put your kids in school, but it was what I needed, and it helped me, and it helped her. Like I think it's helped Emma thrive by being surrounded by other kids and learning things. Because I was taking time away from her to work my business. I was taking time out of that role to be mommy and mentor and letting her just play by herself or watch a show while I could work. And so this helped both of us by putting her in a program, even if it was just 1 day a week or 2 days a week. And I don't know about y'all, but that are stay-at-home moms with kids, but there's a lot of churches that have like MOPS, and it's free. And you get to go and hang out with other MOPS, and then the kids are MOPS, moms, and then the kids are in some kind of, daycare too. But it could, while it's not business producing, income producing activities, it's at least networking. So that may be something too for you to think about. I don't know. Did anybody else have any questions? Monica, what have you decided with, like, how old is
Hayden's 3.
Hayden?
They're
Yeah.
going Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 5 hours.
Oh, they are? Okay, good.
4.5 hours by the time I get them there.
Okay, good. So how have you found your time to be, like, how are you setting up your time then?
I'm not doing a great job of it yet.
Yeah.
It's the balance of the, like you were saying, the like, do I go to Target by myself? Do I do this? You know, but it's a much bigger chunk of time than they were in last school year, and that I found really hard. They were only there 3 hours, so it was like 2.5 hours, and it was just
Yeah.
So they only started a couple weeks ago, and we've had like 2 vacations and stuff in between there. So this is kind of
The first
just
real
starting to
week.
get into it. Yeah, I'm trying to, and some of the stuff I took screenshots of. I know it's going to be available, but I took some screenshots of some of your slides because it doesn't matter for me to like. I need to make specific times, but I'm one of those personalities that's very flexible. So, I got to kind of find that balance, but I also have to decide what are the priorities right now and what are the things I want to do, but I have to realize I'm just not there yet and just need to I need to figure out what I need to concentrate on first. So
I know.
I
That
started
really
writing down business hours, and I got my whiteboard downstairs, and I'm getting there. It's just I'm one of those people, it just takes a while to like fit in pieces.
figure it out. Oh no, I get that. And that's why I thought maybe seeing all those different ways would help, because I'm visual and I have to see stuff and I'm like, oh yeah, I could fill in that, like, or that little half sheet thing. That really helped me because, like you, I want to I have a website, but I want to blog on it every day, and I don't do that. That's not a priority for me right now. It's actually adding more stress to me. So I know that that's something that can go whenever I have an assistant or something. So, so yeah, focusing on, but also keeping it fun too, because like I never want this business to not be fun for anybody. So it's also focusing on like, hey, is that income producing, but it's also fun, because I know like sending messages is probably not fun for people, but I enjoy that part because I like meeting new people. So making sure that you're keeping it fun, and the way that you're organizing it is sustainable too, because like I was saying in the call, it's just those people that go hot and heavy and hard from the get-go, while they probably have a lot of success in the beginning, they get burnt out and can't manage it all. Ooh, yeah. So cool. Okay, well, any other questions or comments or concerns? Yes.
Something that I've been thinking about doing since, like having coaches under me and pushing for Diamond and things like that. When did you make a page just for your coaches to do like your training tip Tuesdays and stuff like that? Because right now, like I'm messaging with them, and things like that. But it kind of gets like, oh my gosh, this is so much, because it's that message on top of my customer messages, on top of, new people and everything else. And so I'm just like, okay, no more messages. So when did you make a page for that?
That's a great question. And my answer, I didn't do it soon enough. I would do it the minute you sign up your first coach, even if it's just you and your spouse, which some of us, our spouse is our first coach, but even if it's just you and your first coach, and I know it sounds corny and it's like weird because there's only one other person in there, but then they have a safe place. They have a safe place to ask questions just to you, because I don't know how y'all feel, but with Sarah's coaches, like that's just us. Like that's, just our little small team that are connected to me. It's not the big BodyBurn team. So if they don't feel comfortable asking a question there, they can come to your small group and ask questions. And then it's, those are your babies. Like you want to take care of them and give them everything. So you want to have a place to house, training tips and scripts in the files, and a place for them to kind of feel safe and home. So I would say do it now.
Okay. That's what it is kind of weird because it's, just like, two people and you're like, okay, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
But it would be easier for me to organize it. So I have everything that she needs, that they need right there in the files. And then, she can just go there and find stuff, as opposed to constantly trying to ask me, hey, what did you do? What did
Yeah.
So yeah, because that's just kind of getting like seriously overwhelming.
No, I know. And, you make a good point. Like if you can do that now, then it'll be so much easier when you have, 8 coaches underneath you and you're a Diamond coach. They're going to have all that stuff already plugged into there. Whereas I was trying to do it after the fact, and I'm like, I always feel behind now. So you'll be ahead of the game. You'll have a place, to call their home. And then I was going to say something else. And notice how it's just called Sarah's Coaches. Like, it's nothing fancy. It's not like Team BodyBurn, whatever. It's very simple. And yeah, the faster you can do it, the better. And the better you can start filling it with good stuff, like good content, good files, good scripts. Have you could take my training and make it, your own in there. That self-paced training, so that they're not feeling overwhelmed in the one that I've got, or not. Like, I mean, you can just do so much with it. So yes, I would say do it now.
Okay, because that's one thing that like Melissa, she's in the self-paced training that's in Sarah's Coaches, but she made the comment to me yesterday that it seems like so many people are in there, and she's getting so many comments from other people's stuff that she feels like she's getting lost in it. So I was like, okay, so maybe I need to do, it's one of my things that I have on a list of things that I want to do as a leader of a team and stuff like that. But I just didn't know when I should do it, or if it would just be weird, or
No,
So.
not weird at all.
Okay.
It's actually very, very leadership-like, and it'll keep you organized. And new coaches, they see that and they are intimidated. They see that big group of BodyBurn, or the self-paced group that's already had 70 people go through it, and they're like, ooh. So making stuff your own is, yes, do it at your own pace. But when you can take mine and make it your own, you'll be that much more successful as a leader, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, because even as a new coach, like for me, I still feel so new that like trying to lead other people is still like, I don't know what I'm doing. So how do I help other people?
I know. It's a weird thing, and it's like we're friends, but I'm supposed to be your upline, and I don't, I don't know what I'm doing. But you can always come to me with stuff too. Like, I don't mind at all.
Okay. All right. Well, that was my biggest question, because I was like, okay, well, I want to do this, but when should I do this? So.
Yeah. No, I think now's the perfect time.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Any other questions on scheduling and scheduling your time?
Where do you even begin to start scheduling? Like yesterday, I was busy all day and didn't sit down until almost 7. And then I thought, I don't know what I did. And so I don't know.
So you were like busy in what? Like with other roles, or with the Beachbody role?
Well, like answering messages while I was cleaning, and then taking Kaylin to the park. And then both the older kids are in 2 different schools at 2 different times. So I have to balance between that. And then I don't know where the day went.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to get the main things down between, and then so I can modify the things in the middle.
Right. So I think, kind of like I said back at the beginning of the call, like those vitals, like the vital behaviors that we're taught, like from corporate. Like, if you're getting those things done, then the next most important thing might be the messaging. If that takes up a lot of your time, maybe that's what it is. And maybe it's not getting back to every message. It's, I'm going to take 3 messages between now and now in 15 minutes before we go to the park, and then I'm not responding to any other messages. And I'm an HR person, so I know that I've been in that industry where people want an answer yesterday. So I had that expectation on myself to respond to people immediately. And I've had to really draw back from that, because I was setting an expectation that I couldn't meet. There were so many messages that I was trying to get back to the same day and the same hour even, because I like to provide exceptional customer service. It's just what I did in my career job, so it stuck with me. But I've really had to scale back from that, because it's not sustainable, and it's hard for me to do. So I don't know if anyone else feels that way or not, but I really had to say, okay, I can only respond to 3 messages right now on my power hour to-do list, or fitting into this time chunk that I'm going to be working. And I think that's why one, the vitals, and then defining those roles and when you're going to be working within those roles. So if you know that you're picking up the kids from 2 to 3 p.m., then that's strictly mommy mentor time, or whatever you labeled that role as. If you're sitting in the pickup line and you have like 20 minutes, then that could be personal development time. Or it could also be, I'm going to respond to 2 messages within this time. So I think what helped me when I was doing this PowerPoint was to do just that. Sit down and say, here's my roles, and then what am I doing? Like, when am I being mommy and mentor throughout my day? I'm doing it at school pickup. I'm doing it at school drop off. I'm doing it at the park with my daughter. Okay, so I'm pretending I'm you. And then when am I being, I don't remember what some of your other roles were, but when am I being coach? Okay, I'm doing it sporadically. Well, maybe that's the one that we focus on, and we're like, okay, well, I'm not going to do sporadic. I'm going to do an hour in the morning when I have this free time, or an hour after I work out, or whenever you have the time to fit it in. When am I being wife? I'm being wife in the evenings. And so that's a good time for me to be wife. My husband enjoys it at that time. He doesn't want it in the morning. He wants me to be wife in the evenings. I don't know what another role of yours is, but when I sat down and did that, it really helped me realize, okay, I'm also being mommy and wife at 4 to 7:30. So I don't need to do Beachbody then. Or if your husband's like, hey, I've got the kids, you can have an hour to yourself, then maybe that's when you do a Beachbody moment. So again, I think it's just sitting down and defining your roles and when you're doing those roles, because that's where I started, aside from the vital behaviors. Because remember, I wasn't getting my workout in. And so as long as you're getting your workout in, sending invite messages, or connecting with people, 3 people a day, and then personal development, then you're good. And then you can start adding in, other things to that Beachbody pie. Did that help? It does? Okay. Yeah. And if you want to talk offline, we can, totally. I saw you message me, and here's me saying I get to my messages at 2:30 after this call. So I apologize. I haven't responded yet. And yesterday was a crazy day, so I apologize. Okay. So are there any other questions? Because I have a couple of things, announcements I was going to say, for those of you that are listening. I'll go ahead and stop the recording.